Welcome to your weekly Open the Door to Tai Chi lesson. There are 10 essentials for Tai Chi, and number 7 says upper and lower follow one another. It goes on to explain your movement needs to be rooted in the feet, stabilized through the legs, commanded by the waist, and expressed through the hands. And it says there's complete coordination of upper and lower if you think about these 4 things: your feet, legs, Dantenne, your waist, and your hands. So we want to talk about the third one here, being commanded by the waist. That's your Dantenne, 2 inches in from the belly button, 2 inches down. Center of your energy in Tai Chi, center of your balance. It's also, if you think about just any athletic endeavor where you need to transfer power from your legs to your upper body, in any kind of sport, you have to understand that this waist is your transfer box. You have to transfer from the lower to the upper in order to get maximum power. So the Dantenne, your waist, is the commander. So let's look at the ward-off sequence first. And we'll look at it in the way that we do our 24 form. So holding the ball to the right, stepping out, ward off, grasp the bird's tail, roll back, rotate and press, pushing chi. Bringing your weight over to the right, back to the left, and ward off. Grasp the bird's tail. Roll back, rotate and press, pushing chi. Now, to really force the issue of leading from the Dantenne, I want you to put your hands where your Dantenne is, right here, and we're going to do that ward-off sequence without our hands. So holding that ball to the right, think about bringing your Dantenne over your right, then you're stepping out and back, lead for this rotation from your Dantenne, grasp the bird's tail, roll back, rotate and press, pushing chi. Now bringing your weight over your right. You have to bring that Dantenne over the right, then to the left, and now stepping out. Lead that rotation. Grasp the bird's tail. Roll back. Rotate and press. Pushing chi. So if we lead from the Dantenne, what happens is it actually helps us to keep our columns intact, keeping our shoulders in harmony with our hips. Because if we're leading from here, there is a natural stopping point for our hands. Let's look at just pushing chi. There's that natural stopping place if I'm leading from here. If I think about leading from my hands, then I can extend further like this, but I've broken my columns. I have no power in this motion anymore. I'm not utilizing the energy. My movement is not coordinated. So if you think about pushing chi, there now becomes this natural stopping place for my hands. Let's do the ward-off sequence and thinking about that same thing. Holding the ball, lead the rotation with your Dantenne. Grasp the bird's tail. There's no reason for me to reach if I'm leading from my Dantenne. If I lead from my Dantenne, I'm here. Roll back. Rotate and press. Pushing chi. Think about that natural stopping place. Bringing your weight over to the right. back to the left, ward off, grasp the bird's tail, roll back, rotate and press, pushing chi. Let's look at wave hands like clouds. Clearly a lot of rotation in that motion. If we start with our weight on the right and we step out left, our Dantenne has to rotate over this left in order for the right to become empty so that it can step in. Now that Dantenne has to move over the right so that the left can become empty, so we can step out left. So that Dantenne leading that rotation helps you remain balanced in that motion. It also gives you more power because you're fully supported as you're doing your rotation. So let's do wave hands like clouds without our hands, which is kind of a weird thing to wave hands without hands, but put your hands on the Dantenne. Bring the Dantenne over that right so that you can step out with the left. Now rotate, bring your Dantenne over the left, and that right can become empty so that now it can step in. But now you have to bring your Dantenne over the right so the left can step out. Letting that right come in. One more step. As I was doing this exercise with one of my classes this week, one of my students commented, she laughed when I made her do wave hands like clouds without hands, because she said, "This is very interesting. I didn't know I was doing this." She goes, "I have no trouble turning to the left." She says, "But I really don't want to turn to the right. I don't want to bring my weight back over to the right," because she's moving to the left. But it's actually very important so that this left can become empty. Bring your weight over the left, bring that right in. But now you have to rotate back to the right in order to step left. Let's do one more without hands. Repulse the monkey. The Dantenne is the leader in your Repulse the monkey. As you have your left foot forward, it's empty, your right is full. As you step back, it's right here where that Dantenne leads that rotation. You're commanded by the waist, and it gives you power in that motion. Right? So let's try that without hands again. Bring your hands to your Dantenne. Weight should be on the right, which means you are slightly rotated over that right. As you step back and rotate now, you bring that Dantenne over the left so this right can become empty. Stepping back. Stepping back. Good. So it's good to, if you want to focus on being commanded by the waist, it's actually good to take away the hands and see what's happening. See if you really are utilizing that rotation and being led by the Dantenne. Let's think of a different kind of led from the Dantenne, being led from the Dantenne. I just want you to do pheasant stance. Okay, pheasant stance, side to side. Now think about lifting from your Dantenne. As you lift your knee, I want you to think about lifting from your core. Lift from the core. You can even do it with kicks. Lift and kick. Right? Practice lifting from the Dantenne, letting it be the leader even as you're moving in that up-down kind of direction. If you put your snake creeps in front of your pheasant stands, remember, think about your Dantenne. You're going to step out and back, and you're going to rotate, bringing that Dantenne over that right leg here so that you can lift from the Dantenne into your pheasant stance. That rotation from being here to now coming over this being my right leg to lift into my left. If you lead from the Dantenne with your snake creeps instead of leading from your shoulders, again, you're going to keep your shoulders in harmony with your hips, and it's going to be a much easier motion. Remember that we want to think about our rooted in the feet, stabilized through the legs, commanded by the waist, expressed from the hands. But we don't want to muscle our way through those motions. We talked about that last week. Essential number 6 says use consciousness, not strength. So you want to be able to go through your snake creeps and be relaxed, utilizing that motion, that coordination of the motion from your Dantenne. Let's think about in the long form and in the 40 form, white crane spreads its wings. If you lead from the Dantenne, you actually get that motion. It becomes much more coordinated. Okay? So you're from a lifting hands position here. If you rotate to your left as you start that white crane, bring your right foot in. Now as you rotate that Dantenne over the right, you can step on the right, and then you rotate left to come into your white crane spreads its wings. So really, if you let that Dantenne lead, not letting the hands lead, it becomes a much more coordinated motion. So as you turn to the left, bringing your hands down to the left. Now turning to the right, continuing those arm circles, and now here you are at your white crane. And then you do continue those arm circles to come into your first brush knee. The spinning lotus kick, because you're doing a complete turn with that spinning lotus kick, it becomes essential to think of yourself as a spinning top, where you don't want to be spinning like this because you'll topple. As you spin on that central column, letting your Dantenne lead, it becomes a much easier motion. So if you think about it, we come from this retreat and ride the tiger, which looks just like white crane. But now we're going to turn, bringing our Dantenne over the left. And as we turn, we bring our Dantenne over the right. As we step, we leave this Dantenne back, this weight back, because we want to kick with that right leg. Do the spinning lotus kick without your hands. It's actually a really good exercise. Start with retreat and ride the tiger. Weight comes to the left, then to the right, then to the left, and lift and kick. It's really hard not to have your hands with that kick. Try the spinning lotus kick one more time with your hands. Think about just turning from the center of your body and step into your shoot the tiger with the bow. The whole essential number 7, upper and lower follow one another, is all about coordination of your body. This is your transfer case. This whole core area, your Dantenne. This is what makes the coordination of upper and lower happen, which is why we say you're commanded by the waist. So come back into pushing chi for me real quickly. And think about the whole essential. Your movement is rooted in the feet, stabilized through the legs, commanded by the waist, and expressed through the hands. Bringing that right foot forward, pushing chi. Let this movement be commanded by your waist. Let it become that perfect transfer box of bringing the power from the ground through your legs, through the Dantenne, out, expressed through your hands into your opponent.